I'm going to invite Consul General of India at New York City, Binaya Pradhan, to make a few remarks. And then if I can request folks to stay on, maybe we can take a photo, and then we'll proceed. We'll take a bit of a break while we take the photo, and then we'll proceed to the session on inclusion, where many of these questions will come back. We'll talk about health, healthcare, inclusion, digital infrastructure. But for now, it's my great pleasure to invite Consul General of India at New York City, Binaya Pradhan, to make brief remarks to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Anu Ramaswamy and Indiaspora for having invited me to speak to this august gathering. It's really a true pleasure to be with such well-known, distinguished thought leaders in this room. I've been here in this beautiful city of New York for about 3 months, have been to various states by now, have met people from different walks of life, have seen the different aspects of American society, have have been touched with the warm hospitality of both the American people and the Indian American community. And I, of course, feel enriched with these experiences, these exposures, and the perspectives that I have got over these last 3 months. And I look forward to this engagement and learning. So when I was speaking to Professor Anu and I asked her what exactly I should speak about, she asked me to speak on Indian diaspora. Now, that is a difficult topic because I'm not part of Indian diaspora, you all are. And I'm basically telling you your story and telling you our expectations from you. So it's very personal for you. So please bear with me for next 7-8 minutes on that. So like I said, here I am as part of Team India, working towards the very well-defined, what Professor Bikram Patel said, that we have now a very well-defined target of being a developed country by 2047. So all Indian embassies, including people like me, we all work for that well-defined objective of a developed India by 2047. And I am convinced that the India-US bilateral relationship has a very key role to play and contribute towards this objective. And I'm even more convinced that the Indian-American community has even more critical role to play towards that objective. So let me share you a story of IIT Madras Zanzibar campus. I know Professor Anu is related to both IIT Madras and the Zanzibar campus. I guess there are some other alumni from that place. So roughly a year and a half back, the discussion started. And it's a story about Indian-American community's success, not only which is resonating in this country or back home in India, but resonating in far-flung places in Africa. So, like I said, about 18 months back, when the discussion started, when the government decided decided that Indian premier institutes should go and set up campuses outside, and the Prime Minister decided that the first offshore IIT campus should be in the global south and preferably in Africa, we were engaging the governments there, and government of Tanzania actually volunteered to host IIT Madras campus. They were motivated by a particular documentary from BBC, which was about the United States importing IITians to this country, and leading to the story that the American technological and scientific development is primarily based upon the hard work of Indian American community. So the leadership of that country, they felt that they can host an IIT and create the next generation of African leaders, technology leaders, and that would be probably a more direct way to bring development to that continent. So this is a real example of the success of Indian American community, which resonates well in the global south. And I saw it firsthand myself in Tanzania, working as Indian High Commissioner. Now, I think you would know that India not only is the most populous country, but our diaspora is also the biggest diaspora. And out of 35 million strong diaspora, 15% of the diaspora, which is the biggest segment, lives in this country, in the United States. And if you talk about the student diaspora, we have about 1.7 million student diaspora, and about 20% of that stays in this country. That's not only the biggest cohort of international students in this country, but this also happens to be the biggest chunk of Indian students in any one country outside India. So this number, this statistics is not only our strength, but it also provides opportunity. And it has already contributed to the growth of Indian growth story, besides contributing to the nation building of the United States. And I'm here, I thought I should spend 5-7 minutes with you to deliberate on how to accelerate this contribution and make it better, bolder, and robust. So coming to the Indian-US relationship, in a lighter way, I say that if you look at this relationship as a bouquet of flowers, the Indian-American community happens to be the most beautiful flower in that bouquet. And if President Biden, refers to this partnership as one of the most consequential partnership of 21st century, Prime Minister Modi says that Indian-American community is the driver, the engine of that partnership. So that is the thrust, that is the importance we lay on the Indian-American community. Of course, the strong sense of giving back of this community is very well known. In India, we have got the benefit, like I said, in the growth story. We have seen several Indian-American community members promoting, supporting, leading organizations. They are making significant impact in different social sectors of India, whether it is Akshay Patra, Pratham, Ekal Vidyalaya, Deshpande Foundation, you name many of them who are making significant contributions. Many of them are technology-enabled solutions. And this community has linked Indian industry with not only the American industry, but with the global industry. And they have been ambassadors of technology collaborations. I spent a day last month at the MIT, hosted by Dean Ananta Chandrakesan. And I got to see how Indian scientific minds are linking Indian industry with the global industry in the area of semiconductor, AI, quantum, and the list goes on. And if you look at their contribution in terms of the American development, of course that is very well known. You are all part of that. But we from India, we see your success as an inspiration. We give you example to our children, and we are very aware about your contribution and your leadership in the world of technology, healthcare, scientific community, industry, and also the fact that you have kept the Indian culture, Indian traditions intact in real ways. And we now see the emergence of Indian community in the political landscape, and we are really excited about that. And knowing that American mainstream is linked to American politics, we are really very happy about that. Having said that, the American community is unique, having unique capabilities, which probably no other Indian diaspora in other country has. Of course, the expectation happens to be bigger from this community. And I, as a Consul General, I'm here to serve the Indian community, so I'm kind of transgressing my jurisdiction when I lay down the expectations. But believe me, these are not my expectations, these are the expectations of common Indian people. And when I have traveled 8 states in my consular jurisdiction, these are the feedback I got from the common Indian American community members who live in this region. So like I said, the expectations are bigger. Let me kind of summarize these expectations in 3 main brackets. The first is, like I think what Professor Bikram Patel said about the success story of health sector in last 2 decades. I would say that story would be similar in other sectors as well. That the basic needs of so-called roti kapda makan, the basic needs of hunger, those things are, I think, pretty much met in India, thanks to the large social security programs, social sector programs by Government of India and various states. So if you ask common Indian what would they expect from this community, which is very unique, as I said, I would say they would expect you to touch their aspirations, not the needs. The needs are, you can question the quality, but I would say if one has to choose between the need and the aspiration, they would expect the Indian American technology leaders, the community leaders, the people who are present in this hall to touch the aspirations of Indian people and help them to understand the technological ground shifting that is happening, to help them to navigate these changes and enable them with knowledge tools and technology tools to exploit these changes to their advantage. The second expectation is regarding technology. I think what Mr. Pramod Burma mentioned, if I rephrase it in one sentence, he basically said that Indian people, irrespective of their education level, now know how to use technology. And when we say our objectives of either having a developed country by 2047 or having a energy independence by 2047 or net emission zero by 2070, I'm sure these all are going to be driven by technology. Now, this is a country where our diaspora, like I said, is uniquely endowed with technological leadership. I think that is a second area of expectation that people here, support on the technological front. I think what Mr. Pramod Verma mentioned, that you don't have to actually go there. Like the example he was giving, difference between verb and noun. I would say that pretty much applies here. People from here doesn't have to go back to India, but help through the technological tools. And the third and most important thing is institution building. I would say whether it is physical institution, whether it is technological and virtual institution, but where you can make a big impact is in building educational, skill development, health, and other institutions building, giving you ideas. What we are witnessing today here is very valuable in that direction. So that is the third expectation from people, both from India and the general Indian American community here. Besides, of course, these three main things, I come across feedback that people generally expect, the community to remain united in branding India in this country. People hope that, we become more active in political landscape here. We are generally expecting that the Indian community takes care of the Indian students. I'm sure you must be coming across different, Indian media stories about Indian student deaths here, which is very disturbing, very alarming. And the general expectation is that Indian community leaders here probably can handhold the Indian students. And the last expectation would be to take care of the needy Indian nationals, because not everybody is prosperous here among the Indian community. We have quite a few Indian organizations who are active there, the doctors group, the legal groups, the other people. Recently, I saw a good trend of Indian companies coming forward, offering internship to Indian students, offering pre-legal aid, pre-medical support to the needy Indian people. But I think that is another set of expectations that I see from people. To conclude, I would say that I see India-US relationship at a point of inflection. I also see a resurgent India marching towards the very well-defined goal of developed India. And I clearly see the Indian American community as a force to reckon with. And what we need to do together is to kind of, to refocus. And I am really very optimistic to see that the Indian American community is increasing